What's up, guys? This is Casey and welcome back to the channel. So today is your stimulus update and stimulus package update for August 7th, 2020. Now, I wish that I was coming to you guys today with some super positive news that we have a stimulus package agreed upon and that it is set to be signed into law as of next week, but unfortunately that's not the case. Even with that said, all is not lost. There is some silver lining news that did take place today, and I'm going to go over with you guys everything that took place today, what that means for us as an economy, and what that means for you as an individual. So let's just kind of hop into this. We have a lot to unpack today. So today was the deadline, or it was the verbal deadline, that the Democrats and the Republicans agreed that they wanted to have a deal done before they went on recess. Now, the Democrats in the House of Representatives actually had went on recess, were scheduled to go on recess on July 31st. And the Senate, the Republicans are set to go on recess as of today. Now, with that said, they were willing to postpone the recesses if they were relatively close to a deal and they just needed to hash out a few details. And for all intents and purposes, we thought that that was the case as of a couple of days ago. You know, they had this instituted Friday, August 7th, which was today's deadline, and they wanted to have something agreed upon, at least verbally, so that they could then vote on this as of next week and then get this signed into law. That didn't happen. Now, why did that not take place? Well, a couple of things. As of right now, the main high-level scope is that the Democrats and Republicans just have two totally different perceptions of what the economy is in right now. That's really the fundamental thing. And then obviously, because they're playing politics at the highest level, there's some political maneuvering taking place. And I want to go over all that today. So the Democrats, they think that we are in a very serious recession. Newsflash, right? So they want to basically drop the hammer, and they want to ensure that every aspect of the economy is more than funded to help deal with this pandemic that's taken place. And so what that means is that they wanted to provide a lot of funding for state and local governments, basically, state and local, entities and businesses and so forth. And the Republicans are pretty much like, no, we don't want to do that. Now, from what is being released in the news, Munchin stated today that the biggest sticking point is that the Democrats are demanding $1 trillion for the state and local government aid. And they said that's actually the biggest sticking point right now. They said it's not the stimulus update, the stimulus checks. They said it's not the stimulus amount. It is literally the $1 trillion that the Democrats are requesting for state and local government aid. The Republicans and Munchin believes that they don't want to put anywhere near $1 trillion for state and local government aid. They only want to give up to $100 billion, which both sound like very crazy numbers, but not when you think about the entire economy as a whole. So they're like literally 10 times off where they want to be. Now, the total package for the Democrats that was presented to the table with the HEROES Act was $3.5 trillion. And that covered not only federal aid, but it also should say state for local and state governments, but it also covered funding for obviously the stimulus checks. It also covered unemployment. It also covered providing funding for illegal immigrants. It also covers extensive student loan forgiveness. So it covered quite a bit of things. And the Republicans are like, no, we don't really need all of that. This is, as a matter of fact, we only need about $1 trillion. And so the Republicans were calling that the skinny package. And so the Democrats are like, well, that's just not enough money, that we're in the middle of a pandemic. And so we need to get some additional funding for the American people. And so in the last 24 hours, or AKA the final hour, if you will, of negotiations, the Democrats, specifically Nancy Pelosi, said, I tell you what, just meet us in the middle, right? I swear I heard that as a song somewhere, meet me in the middle. Anyhow, so Nancy Pelosi said, I tell you what, just meet us in the middle. How about we will shave $1 trillion off of our 3.5, and you add an additional, $1 trillion, and then we'll start from there, right? So you agree to $2 trillion, we're 2.5, we'll meet somewhere around there. And the Republicans said, no, we don't want to meet you in the middle. As a matter of fact, we don't even want to do $1 trillion. And then this really begs the question, did the Republicans ever really intend on meeting and negotiating in good faith to begin with. I mean, typically with negotiations, you ask a little bit more than what you really want, and the companies, they or whoever or the other side offers a little less than what they're willing to pay. You meet in the middle, and then you kind of have everyone has a good deal, and that's normally what happens. But that isn't what happened here. The Democrats were willing to budge and lower their original asking price significantly, but the Republicans said no, $1 trillion or nothing. So they basically played hardball, and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats said, well, listen, you're not going to back us into a corner and not have any give. So in that case, we're not going to have a deal. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is that the whole saving grace, here comes the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and says, I tell you what, how about I'm just going to go ahead and do an executive order. And basically, Donald Trump came out today and said that he is going to look into signing a bill that is going to include payroll tax deferment. It is going to extend the unemployment benefits. It is going to extend the eviction moratorium. So if you are behind on your mortgage or your rent, you will not be evicted. And he's going to extend the student loan payments and forgiving the interest, which is amazing. That's actually great. Now, the only thing that really I find interesting with this is the timing of it, because I'm almost wondering if the Republicans ever planned on negotiating in good faith. Now, I don't really care what side of the fence you're on. It doesn't really bother me. But just from a pure negotiation standpoint, right, if you come into the table, someone wants $50 million, you only want to pay them, I don't know, $20 million. And then you meet in the middle, you pay $35 and everyone's kind of happy. Well, the fact that the Republicans never moved off of their original number in the slightest makes me wonder if they planned all along to not ever have a deal done so that the president could then step in, acknowledge that he's going to be the one that saves the day because the elections are coming up here in the next 90 days. And actually, I'm sorry, a lot less than that. What am I saying? A lot less than that. And so I'm really wondering if, and like I said, it just could be all just pure coincidental, but I just found that very convenient that that's the case. Now, with that said, where do we go from here? Well, as of right now, unless the Democrats and Republicans agree on a package, unless they're literally negotiating right now as we speak, right? They could very well negotiate all the way through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then come to the table and surprise everyone with the package on Monday. I don't think that's the case. What I do think is going to happen is I do think that President Trump does plan on implementing an executive order in order to get these extensions for unemployment and also for the moratorium for evictions and student loan payments. The only issue with that is that the Democrats are not on board with that. So Nancy Pelosi stated today that she's not sure that the president even has the authority. That typically Congress are the only ones that have that authority in order to pass that type of law. And so Donald Trump even stated himself today that he thinks that he may get sued by Congress for attempting to do something like that, but that he's willing to do it and that he's going to attempt to do it. So I don't know at this point, people. Like I said, it's just all crazy. What I do know for a fact is that we have Americans that need help, and they've needed help, and we've needed assistance for quite a while now. And here we are all the way into August 7th, and yet they don't have a bill passed. And these politicians are all talking about going on recess, and we are in the middle of a pandemic. And I just found it very unacceptable. I am disappointed, not just with Democrats, Republicans, or the White House. I'm just disappointed with our government as a whole. I mean, at the end of the day, these are our world leaders. They control our country. They make our laws. They dictate the way that our economy flows. And at the end of the day, you have the head of Treasury, you have the White House, you have Congress, you have all these powerful people, and they can't seem to come to an agreement to help the American people. And at the end of the day, I'm just very disappointed in that. So I really hope that they get this together. I hope that they're able to find some type of consensus, and they do it fast, because I do understand that they're concerned about the politics aspect of it, obviously, and the elections that are coming up and trying to save face. But while they're playing politics, people are suffering, and people need help, and we need it fast. So hopefully they come to a consensus on this, because it's not acceptable. Now, I do want to give you guys some positive encouragement. Please do hang in there. Please, keep your heads up. I do think that they are going to come to some type of consensus, because quite frankly, they have to. So whether it's going to be the president putting in these executive orders, whether it's going to be a weekend thing to where maybe we find out some positive news Monday, maybe they postpone a recess and someone makes a phone call Monday night and then they get a deal done Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't think that they're going to just flat out stay in recess for the next 3 to 4 weeks, if not longer actually, and not have something done. So do hang in there, guys. I know that this is disappointing news. We all anticipated having a deal done this Friday, but I do think that there is going to be relief coming. There will be stimulus checks coming, and there is going to be some type of moratorium put in place for evictions and things of that nature. It's just a matter of who the heck's going to do it. Is it going to be the president or is it going to be Congress? Somebody got to do it. So hang in there. Now keep your head up. We are going to get to make progress. So just hang tight. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, this is a financial education channel. This is a channel where we talk a lot about self-improvement with how to save money, how to make money, the psychology of money, also credit card information, just anything that helps you guys overall with improving your day-to-day lives with obtaining financial freedom. But I have been doing a lot of a lot of stimulus videos lately because I've gotten a lot of requests on those, and as promised, I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the latest and keeping you up to date on the latest. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you like the video, hit the notification bell. I also want to just tell you guys to hang in there. I know that this is a very challenging time right now, but we are going to see through it. We are going to get some positive news here sooner than later. So hang in there, and I will talk to you guys in the next update. Take care.